Hello, fellow emos. This video is a deep dive into the My Chemical Romance return tour because it's very important to me, okay? There's a really big fandom following it right now on Tumblr, as well as a bit on Twitter, I think. I have seen this tour referred to as, like, sports for queer people, and within good reason, because it's been absolutely bonkers, wild, insane. Screaming, writhing, covered in blood, booty shorts, just girly things, rats. Capitalism sucks. It sucks how toxic nostalgia culture is becoming. Rats and bugs are gonna eat your corpse. I'm breathing deeply. I am so normal about this. Fun fact, I originally made this video in October, but it was way too thick and juicy for my computer to contain, so I pulled out this kind of sketchy external drive that I'd had since 2013, and it ate the whole video. It just ate it. So I told myself, I really want this video to exist, but I'm going to wait until March. That way the tour will be, like, fully complete. A few months will have passed so that the pain of losing the video in October will have dulled. So here we are in March. If you have not been watching your gay sports, have no fear. I am going to explain it to you in excruciating detail. After this video, not even Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway is going to be able to call you a prep, because what is being emo truly about if not being a pretentious asshole who knows more about pixelated Gerard Way thigh shots on Tumblr than your friends? I'm kidding. I am not trying to resurrect the worst of the subculture here. In fact, I want to say I am bound to miss things in this video. I know there are things that I've missed in this video. If you know something that I've neglected to mention, if an interesting thought occurs to you that did not occur to me, please let me know in the comments down below. I will be glad to learn something new. But before we go any further, I have to tell you a little bit about this video sponsor, Capital One Shopping. It's a simple and free way to help you save money while you're online shopping. You simply add it to your browser. It's available for Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Safari. While you're online shopping, it scours the internet for coupon codes that might be floating around out there. If it finds anything, its helpful little pop-up window will show up to let you know, and those available coupons will be instantly applied to your cart at checkout. It works for thousands of online retailers, including some of the biggest ones that you definitely use, like Amazon or Walmart. Capital One Shopping has millions of users, and last year they saved those users $470 million in total. That's just free money, baby! Capital One Shopping can help you find some really incredible deals. It found this one for me on a Keurig coffee machine. It says I can save $50, and now I have $50 I otherwise wouldn't that I can spend on expensive cat food, facial piercings. I got things to buy. So whether you online shop a lot for yourself or you're looking to buy a gift right now, it's a really great tool to have. You can get started with Capital One Shopping today. So go check out Capital One Shopping, save while you spend at CapitalOneShopping.com/strangeeons, plus you'll earn a $10 bonus when you install the extension on your desktop browser and sign up. The first time I made this video, I did not give any background on My Chemical Romance. I just jumped straight into the return tour. And I think I would like to change that this time, because I'm sure a lot of people watching are casual fans who maybe know a few songs, or who maybe aren't even that familiar but are just down to let me teach them about whatever niche nonsense I am captivated by this week. I appreciate you. And therefore, here's a very brief yet relevant background on MCR. The band has 4 members, names that you will hear me say: Gerard Way, Mikey Way, who is Gerard Way's brother, Frankie Arrow, and Ray Toro. They have 4 albums, and Conventional Weapons. Conventional Weapons is like a series of EPs they released that are the fragments of a scrapped album, but you can pretty much still listen to them like a short album. All of the albums and Conventional Weapons are very concept heavy. MCR loves their big themes and narratives, and in my opinion, everything they've done is just so excellently crafted on every level. Their first album is called I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love, usually referred to by fans as Bullets because of the long title. It was released in 2002. It is an album about destruction, self-destruction, destructive love. It apparently features a loose storyline about, like, a Bonnie and Clyde type criminal couple called the Demolition Lovers. They go on adventures and ultimately die in a dramatic gunfight in the desert. There's vampires involved. Loose storyline. Bullets is considered the most punk/hardcore of their albums. MCR's second album is called 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. It was released in 2004. It is usually referred to as just Revenge. Revenge is just absolutely like the quintessential emo album. It's a lot less screamy and hardcore than Bullets. It's inching more towards pop punk. Therefore, it had a lot more mainstream success. It is in some ways, or it was originally intended as like a sequel to Bullets. Gerard had to say about it, it's the story of a man and a woman who are separated by death in a gunfight, and he goes to hell only to realize by the devil telling him that she's alive. The devil says he can be with her again if he brings the devil the souls of 1,000 evil men, and the man agrees to do it, and so the devil hands him a gun. That was the idea behind the concept. The record ended up being much more about loss and real life than anything, so I would say it's a good split. MCR's third album is called The Black Parade. It was released in 2006. It is definitely definitely more story heavy than the first two albums. It follows a protagonist called the Patient who is terminally ill, reflecting back on his life, ultimately dies, and death comes to him in the form of the Black Parade. MCR's fourth album is called Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. It was released in 2010, and the story of it takes place in the post-apocalyptic, futuristic year of 2019. All the band members have their, Danger Days character alter egos that they play. They are the Fabulous Killjoys. They hate capitalism and blow things up about it. It's bright, it's crazy, it's a comic book. Gerard Way has always been heavily influenced by comics. I think he did write a comic based on Danger Days, actually. Danger Days is widely seen as a betrayal of their previous aesthetics. It was just way too much fun for all these depressed emos. People look at me like I'm a poser prep when I say Danger Days is my favorite MCR album. That thing was like crack cocaine to my 13-year-old brain, and I think it rewired me permanently, and I can't go back and change that now, okay? In 2013, My Chemical Romance announced their breakup, and in 2014, they released a greatest hits album called May Death Never Stop You, and a song called Fake Your Death. We all believed they were really dead, though. And honestly, it seems like they did too. Gerard started focusing on his comics full-time. Probably his most well-known work is Umbrella Academy at this point. In 2019, MCR announced their return tour, and it was delayed twice due to COVID. So the shows that were announced in 2019 and meant to happen in 2020 ended up happening in 2022, which means that people like my friend and I, who got tickets the day it was announced in 2019, had those tickets for 3 entire years before we got to go. I think we all have somewhat of an expectation for how reunion tours like this tend to go. We all get to go and relive this thing that we loved 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, and maybe it's a cash grab, but we don't care. On May 12th, 2022, 4 days before the tour was set to begin, with no hype, no warning, no hints, nothing, MCR drops a new song. It's called Foundations of Decay, and boys, it blows our tits clean off. It is 6 minutes long. It is about rebirth and regrowing from your decaying past and how to go on creating things even as you age and change, and Gerard Way witnessing 9/11. One very good Tumblr post that I like about it says, "The line 'you must fix your heart' kills me because Gerard has talked for years about the trap of feeling like you need to be depressed to the point of crisis to produce good material that they fell down. This line and Foundations in general is a direct response to that mindset. Instead of tearing themselves open, Foundations is a song about Gerard reckoning with healing. Foundations is a song about shifting away from martyrdom and working towards rebuilding oneself, not in spite of, but alongside one's past." Tumblr user Girl Gerard, I am kissing you on the mouth. I think that sets the scene for what this tour so well. Even though MCR was something that I got into as a teenager initially, I never really stopped listening to them at any point. I've always really liked them, and I think I consider them one of my all-time favorite bands because they're one of the only bands that I like everything that they've ever done. They do not have a song that I do not like. I am a passionate MCR enjoyer, is what I'm telling you, and Foundations of Decay is everything I could have ever possibly wanted. It doesn't sound that much like anything they've done in the past. It has a completely different vibe, but at the same time, it is very clearly still them. It's just a perfect balance. It's flawless. That is when it became clear what was going on here. This tour isn't about them ripping their old stuff out of the grave as a cash grab. This is a fully formed new era of MCR with new things to say. And then the tour started, and immediately had us all gnawing on our drywall like ravenous feral raccoons. We are now about to start assembling our conspiracy board, going through all of the tour shows, all of Gerard Way's outfits, but I have to thank a few of my fellow internet users for their hard work here. Twitter user Glossveins, Twitter user Let It All Burn, Tumblr user The My Chemical Romance Archive, they also have an Instagram. These lovely humans made chronological lists of all of the drumhead messages and all of Gerard Way's outfits. It would have taken me so much longer to make this video without their work to go off, so thank you so much. May 16th, St. Austell. The drum says gag. Gerard is wearing a green t-shirt with a black shirt on top and black jeans. This earthy tone of green definitely evokes that theme of rebirth, dying, rotting, being reclaimed by the earth, being born again. And I know you're thinking, really? That's how we're starting? We're overanalyzing a green t-shirt? Maybe Gerard just knows they look good in earth tones. And I would probably agree with that if this green did not feature so heavily in the tour outfits as well as the tour's merch. I don't think the green is insignificant here. The stage set that they perform in front of for every single show of this tour is like a post-apocalyptic decaying city, probably specifically post-nuclear apocalypse given the band's history with that theme, but we'll come back around to that. During the show, Gerard yelled "rats" on stage a few times. There's also a neon rat extermination sign displayed. The number on the sign, I believe, has a New Jersey area code, which is where the band is from. As the Vermin Crawls is, of course, a lyric from Foundations of Decay. Vermin, rats, decay, post-apocalypse. Okay, it's called an aesthetic, baby. May 17th, St. Austell, the drum says gag again. Gerard is wearing a green t-shirt, layered with a black shirt and black jeans. Exact same outfit from last night, except now the t-shirt is spray painted with the word rats. May 19th, Milton Keynes, the drum says 1. Because this is the first show in Milton Keynes. And at this point, we kind of think we know where they're going with this thing, right? Rats? It's rats, right? Gerard comes out in an all-white suit, splattered down the front with blood. There's blood on his face. He's wearing this white mask with cutouts and the Meta logo drawn on the forehead. One Tumblr post I particularly enjoy said, "This is the most unexpected shit they have ever pulled. The whole theme up until now has been swarm, rot, decay, and Miss Chemical Romance brings out her deranged clown cosplay. I can't cope." This look has officially been dubbed Meta Man. The red blood down the front, I think, is reminiscent of the iconic red tie look from the Revenge album era. That look, or those looks, the whole band had their Revenge era looks. They originated in the Helena music video and then were kept as stage outfits and worn a lot during shows around that time. It has also been pointed out that this looks a lot like the I'm Not Okay art. So yeah, there's definitely some familiar MCR motifs going on here, but just put that aside for a second. Put aside all of our prior MCR knowledge for a second. It is pretty blatant to splatter yourself in blood and write a company's logo on your face. According to an audience member, Gerard spoke on stage about how capitalism is evil, how companies shouldn't own your identity the way that Meta does. They said, "We deserve to live in a real world with real people and real faces. We don't want your metaverse." This was also the night of the "Your Memory Will Carry On" flag. Fans online compiled a list of names of everyone they knew who had been supposed to attend the MCR tour but had passed away over the pandemic. And then at this show, Gerard held up a flag with all of those names printed on it. Gerard also told a story of a stray cat that their family accidentally took in over the pandemic.
In the pandemic, she entered that room and came to live with us. And she brings us dead fucking rats.
So we're back around to rats. May 21st, Milton Keynes. The drum says 2, as it is the second show in Milton Keynes. The shirt that Gerard is wearing here is kind of difficult to make out in a lot of the pictures, but people have identified it as the Lindsay unicorn shirt. It's a really ugly shirt with a unicorn and his wife's name on it. He's been wearing versions of it for years. Apparently this show was on her birthday, so it's just a little shout out to her, I guess. Also during this show, Gerard and Ray kissed on stage. Those queer gender-bending emo boys have been known to partake of such a thing, although I believe it was Gerard and Frank who used to kiss on stage back in the day. That night, Gerard also said, "People saw me come in with the weird outfit and thought, he's crazy, he's insane, he's unglued." And that might be the case, but I am free. Embrace the world, embrace the plague, embrace the uncertain. May 22nd, Milton Keynes. The drum says 3. Gerard and Frank wore matching t-shirts that said piss and vinegar.
Oh, first of all, I didn't notice our shirts. Look at this. Yeah, I thought this shit up so long ago, like we weren't even a band at the time.
Before the show started that night, they played a National Geographic video called Rat Attack. Yes, that is the actual music from the original. I tracked it down on the National Geographic YouTube channel. May 24th, Dublin. The drum says "Gnaw." Gerard is wearing black jeans, a black t-shirt, a black shirt, and a thin grey scarf thing. I could not find any photos of this, but I did find a Tumblr post that claimed that they had "Let's Go" written on their hand, which is very Danger Days. May 25th, Dublin. The drum says "Gnaw." Gerard is wearing black jeans, a black bomber jacket, and a camo shirt. Camo is that same earthy tone of green, and not to mention it's camo. It's literally meant to mimic nature. The use of camo brings up a lot of other thoughts for me as well in the context of MCR, because military. Gerard has tweeted that he almost joined the military when he was younger, and it's clear that critiquing the military culture, hypermasculinity, and violence, and how these things often feel inextricable from American culture, these are themes that are very near and dear to MCR, especially on Conventional Weapons, which is not technically an album, we've been over it, but there's a song on there which is called Gun, which is literally just about fucked up military culture. There's the Ghost of You music video, which is set in World War II. All the band members play soldiers. Mikey dies. I actually need you to remember that. The fact that Mikey dies in the Ghost of You music video is actually relevant lore to the 2022 tour, so keep that in your brain pockets. So Gerard wearing camo, you can read into it in the context of the current tour themes. You could also read into it in the context of MCR's long history of critiquing the military. You can also go military, war, nuclear apocalypse, decay, rebirth themes. You can draw a line through it all if you want to. May 27th, Warrington. The drum says, I heart MCR. Gerard is wearing black jeans, a black raincoat, and apparently has Let's Go written on their hand again. May 28th, Cardiff. The drum says, sit, stay, beg. Gerard is wearing black jeans, a black shirt, and this weird neck scarf situation. They're wearing a green shirt with a fly on it, which I think is one of the merch shirts. And it has drink piss, piss blood spray painted over it, which, cool. May 28th, Glasgow. The drum says King Mob. King Mob is a character from the Invisibles comics, largely considered to be a self-insert of the author Grant Morrison. Gerard is obviously very into the comic world, being an author himself. The outfit for tonight, honestly, I don't know if calling an outfit does it justice. It's more of a look. It's a look. It has been dubbed Motor Oil Gerard because they are totally smeared. Their clothing is visibly saturated with this like motor oil or mud looking grime. Underneath all of said grime, you can tell that they're wearing black jeans and a shirt that says King Rat on it. King Rat on the Streets of Another Life is of course a lyric from Destroya, so that's familiar. Oh, to be a rat, wet, in the mud, one with the decay. Oh, I feel represented. June 1st, Paris. The drum says, thank you for the venom, but in French. Gerard is wearing black jeans and a Mickey Mouse t-shirt with a black shirt layered on top and a baseball cap. June 2nd, Rotterdam. The drum says, happy Halloween. Gerard is wearing a brown flannel over a Metallica t-shirt and black jeans. June 4th, Bologna. The drum says, mosquito. I dare say MCR has their history with a bloodsucker or two. Gerard is wearing a The Germs t-shirt, which is a 70s punk band that I admittedly had not heard of before this. June 6th, Munich. The drum has a piece of paper printed out and taped onto it with a quote that says, a cat's rage is beautiful, burning with pure cat flame, all its hair standing up and crackling blue sparks, eyes blazing and sputtering, William S. Burroughs. I love that. I want to know exactly how much Gerard's feral cat and its bloodlust for rats has informed this tour. Gerard Way, Tumblr Girl, and Cat Lady and Freak confirmed? That night they were wearing black jeans and a t-shirt. June 7th, Budapest. The drum says pest. Gerard is wearing a black t-shirt with another shirt layered on top, and black booty shorts. Everybody lost their mind about this, but it's actually not a new thing for them at all. Danger Days era Gerard was definitely into some booty shorts. Back in the day, there was a handful of songs that were cut from Danger Days that the band nonetheless really liked and thought had a particularly grimy vibe to them. So they made it into this short EP by a fictional band called Mad Gear and Missile Kid. Apparently they were planning to play small shows in clubs and bars in character as Mad Gear and Missile Kid, and there's a 2010 interview where Gerard says that booty shorts would be a mandatory uniform for these shows. Someone else pointed out on Twitter that these are perhaps not just any booty shorts, but in fact military silkies. God damn, Gerard has a brand. June 9th, Warsaw. The drum is bearing an unknown paragraph of writing taped to it. I've seen someone on Tumblr claim that it is the lyrics to Foundations of Decay, but I am not sure. Gerard is wearing this army green bag cloak thing. I've seen a lot of people say it's a rain poncho. A lot of people on Tumblr have latched onto the idea of it being a wizard, because of course they have. I don't necessarily think it's an intentional wizard. I think it's probably a rain poncho, but nevertheless, quite wizardy looking. June 11th, Prague. The drums say, my god, the shadows, which is a reference to the comic series The Crow. Gerard is wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. People did notice that the shirt was inside out though. June 12th, Berlin. The drum has a printed out piece of paper taped to it again. It says, what did one toilet say to the other? You look a bit flushed, which is a pretty stupid joke. And you know who's known to tell stupid jokes from time to time? Clowns. It's clowns. Now there is zero precedent for clowns in the known MCR canon, unless you count that tweet where Gerard said that they almost joined the military, because the second option was clown school. There's also a bit of an aesthetic similarity to Gerard's party poison mask in Danger Days. It's yellow, it's a little bit clowny. At shows prior to this one, audience members report Gerard saying things like, "My friends, you are at the fucking carnival, and every day it's like a clown village."
I have never seen this band have more fun than they're having on this fucking tour. Every day it's like Clown Village.
So perhaps this is what the clown costume is meant to represent, just the fun and joy that this tour has brought everyone. June 14th, Stockholm. The Drum has a photo printed out and taped onto it of the band The Eagles playing on the same stage in 1977. Gerard is wearing skeleton face paint, which is very Black Parade, has Take It Easy written on their hand, which is the name of a song by The Eagles. They're wearing an army green raincoat with Doug spray painted onto it. Doug is Doug McKean, MCR's producer, who worked on everything from Black Parade in 2006 through Foundations in 2022. People have said this was a tribute to Doug as he passed away recently. However, he actually passed away 6 weeks after this show from a random brain hemorrhage, and they did do a show that was much more blatantly a tribute to him after he passed away, but at the time of this show, it was just a little appreciation of their, at the time, alive producer. June 17th, Bon. The Drum says, "It's a wonderful life." Gerard is wearing a pink button-down shirt, black jeans, and sunglasses. June 18th, Bon. The Drum says, "Go hard, go home." Gerard is wearing another button-down shirt. I think it's the same pink one as the night before, but it might be white. It's hard to tell from the lighting in a lot of these photos. People have speculated that this pink shirt is the Metaman shirt, having gone through the wash. I don't know what would be the significance of doing that, but I'm not sure I agree, but people have said it. August 20th, we have now entered the US portion of the tour. We are in Oklahoma City. The Drum says, "Big death energy." Gerard is wearing clown face paint with an otherwise normal outfit, including a camo jacket. August 21st, San Antonio. The Drum says, "Live, laugh, launch." Launch as in some kind of weapon, some kind of missile, some kind of nuclear. You get it, the girls have a brand. Gerard is wearing all black. August 23rd, Nashville. The Drum says, "I bet it was you." Gerard is wearing this green and white vintage cheerleader outfit with a W on the front for way. It is an actual vintage cheerleader outfit. Gerard's costume designer, Marina Toybina, said, "Originally it was a women's size 4, but we were able to completely take it apart and recreate it for stage." This is the outfit from the tour that probably got the most attention online. I can't connect it to the MCR canon in a very obvious way. I mean, it's green. But that's obviously not why people were so crazy about this outfit. I think a lot of fans saw Gerard as just theatrical, yes, but still, at the end of the day, this, like, all black wearing cis band dude. There is a degree to which costumes and makeup do not necessarily take away from a band member's cis straightness, because there's a degree to which that is just expected from the genre, and it doesn't really interfere with people's perception of Gerard as just a normal guy. The cheerleader costume obviously takes it to a degree that is not expected. It's new, it's bold, it's amazing, because it does not leave that room for cis straight fans to be like, "It's fine, he's just emo." This is some blatant gender fuckery. If it's about breaking down archetypes, I guess you could say the cheerleader is like the pinnacle of the attractive, desirable, socially successful girl. Very all-American, almost a patriotic symbol. Very much the opposite of the emo weirdos in the corner. The cheerleader is the antithesis of the way Gerard Way would usually be perceived. I say usually because a lot of fans did see this coming and did see him as a queer icon long before this tour. There's always since the very beginning been queer stuff in MCR lyrics. Gerard has been openly non-binary and used he/they pronouns since 2015. I know that I'm probably rapidly ping-ponging between pronouns this entire video. Gerard has talked about having a lot of gender confusion in their youth. They never identified much with masculinity and liked to experiment with more feminine modes of expression, which I will remind you was not an easy or casual thing to do a few decades ago. And the current conclusion to all of this gender introspection that Gerard has done is non-binary using he and they pronouns, but it is clear that they definitely still feel that deep connection to femininity and to the trans community. August 24th, Cincinnati. The Drum says, "Smile with your eyes." Gerard is wearing a green shirt and black jeans. August 26th, Raleigh. The Drum says, "Free bugs." Get it? Like free hugs, the emo/scene slogan of old. So they're building on that bug theme. There's Swarm written all over the merch. Gerard was wearing that shirt with the bug on it with the drink piss piss blood. There was mosquito written on the drums before. Vermin and creepy crawlies, they're everywhere. One Tumblr post that I enjoy says, personally, I think if this concept is anything, it's like Gerard's continuous philosophy that rock music is about fans eating rock stars alive. They're not the bugs, girl. We're the bugs. That night, Gerard was wearing camo booty shorts and a white t-shirt with a bug on it. This show, August 26th, is also the first instance of them playing Everybody Hates the Eagles. Oh my god, it's a new song, you're thinking. Yesn't? So back in the Danger Days era, at shows they used to play what they called noise jam. It was like a 40-second-ish break between songs, and it sounded like this. So they're doing it again. Only now it has lyrics. I will say Everybody Hates the Eagles doesn't sound identical to Danger Days era Noise Jam, but it is very, very similar. According to people who were at this show, Gerard was reading the lyrics off of a piece of paper. That's how new they were. The fun thing is, though, every time they have played this song since, the lyrics have been different. Not entirely different. I mean, it's been subtle changes over the course of months. They would usually just like rearrange a few words or change a few lines between shows. Obviously, between August, the first time they played it, and March, the end of the tour, like, they're very different versions of the song, but the changes were very gradual. I do really hope that they release like a final official version. I think it's a great song. Would love to listen to it with not super crunchy audio that somebody recorded on a phone from the back of the theater. We don't know what the final lyrics are going to be. We don't even know what the final title is going to be. It's probably not going to be Everybody Hates the Eagles. And like, what would that even mean? Everybody Hates the Eagles. Why would it be called Everybody Hates the Eagles? That seems a little random, but I mean, they have made reference to the band of the Eagles before. There's that show with the picture of the Eagles taped to the drum and Take It Easy on Gerard's hand. The lyrics have also referenced Take It Easy and other songs by the Eagles. We know from interviews that Frank does in fact hate the Eagles. However, others have suggested that it has another meaning as well. Eagles as in symbol of America and American military. And maybe they did do it consciously, but also maybe they didn't. Maybe they just hate the Eagles. I think they've made enough references to the Eagles, the band, that might just be it. But again, that might not even make it into the final version of the song. Like that line, Everybody Hates the Eagles, in the lyrics, they've changed so many times. Like it was everybody gets the measles, everybody dies in the cathedral, like this song could be anything. August 27th, Elmont. The drum says, get in the chair. Gerard is wearing a black shirt, camo booty shorts, and this transparent mask thing that's giving me very Patrick Bateman skincare routine. I have not been the only one to think that or to say that online, but I don't know 100% if that's what it's supposed to be. August 29th, Philadelphia. The drum says Bloom. Gerard is wearing a black t-shirt that says Pool Boy at the Vampire Mansion, camo booty shorts, and the transparent mask again. There are so many vampires in the MCR canon. Vampires will never hurt you. Thank you for the venom. Blood, vampire money. Their vampire content always kind of, to me, feels like it's drawing on very classic vampires. Blood and violence and seduction and drama. I'm obsessed with this look because it's like, yeah, this little wet guy, he's part of the vampire lore too, a pool boy at the Vampire Mansion. I want this shirt. I would like to wear this shirt in public. August 30th, Albany. The drum says Manhunt. Gerard is wearing camo booty shorts for the 4th night in a row. How many pairs of these do you think he has? September 1st, Uncasville. The drum says Host Organism. Gerard is wearing this black graphic tee that I can't really make out the design on, to be honest. A black jacket and black shorts. They're also wearing these green striped socks that match the cheerleader outfit, black gloves, and that transparent mask again. So the gloves, the socks, and the mask are all components of other outfits, other more put together outfits that it seems like they kind of just threw on. September 2nd, Montreal. The drum says, I only have eyes for you. Gerard is wearing a black button-up shirt with exactly the correct number of buttons undone. It's giving me very slutty goth business casual. Oh, also, he's crying blood. Personally, my brain goes to Our Lady of Sorrows, which in Catholicism is like a name for Mary or a way of portraying Mary that is very centered around her sorrows, usually over the death of Jesus. And it's pretty goth, to be honest. Our Lady of Sorrows is often portrayed with tears on her cheeks, and a very common miracle that is reported happening is statues of Mary that cry, including some that cry blood. Maybe it's far-fetched, but I will remind you that Our Lady of Sorrows is the name of a song on Bullets. September 4th, Toronto, the drum says back in the cage. Gerard is wearing a skeleton bodysuit and face paint. Pretty straightforward Black Parade era throwback, I think. September 5th, Toronto again. The drum says back in the cage again, only this time it has Sure spray painted over it. This is the show that I was at. My friends and I had general admission tickets, so we were like a few meters from the stage. It was spectacular. Vibrating with anticipation, waiting to see if Gerard is going to come out. Obviously, we're there primarily for the music, and even if he comes out in a green t-shirt, it's still going to be an amazing show, but we're hoping for something spicy. The band starts coming out on stage, and we're all trying to get a good look, and then I hear somebody in the crowd somewhere adjacent to us go, "He has a tail!" He was wearing black skin-tight pants, this loose scoop neck off the shoulder, like flirty mom kind of black top, all black Converse, aviator glasses, cat ears, a tail, and drawn-on whiskers. I want to tell you personally my first-hand experience that I witnessed with my eyeballs. By the end of the night, he had sweat off all of the whiskers and just was so damp. The cat costume makes total sense to me. Gerard's cat, the rats. Somebody also pointed out that their first EP ever, which was released a couple days before Bullets, actually featured a black cat on the cover. September 7th, Boston. The drum says spooky. Gerard is wearing a black morph suit and black swan makeup. The white face and huge black eyes feels like a familiar makeup look on Gerard. It's kind of adjacent to the Black Parade look, but I think this makeup look is clearly referencing the movie Black Swan. As usual, I have found a Tumblr post analyzing this that I would like to read for you. Black Swan is a provocative tale of perfectionism and self-destruction, female sexuality, and transformation, but the thing I want to focus on is transformation and the evolution of My Chemical Romance. I think Gerard's interpretation of Black Swan mimics Nina Sayer's transformation, it's the protagonist of Black Swan, in many ways. He's no longer forced to conform to a label, an album era, tour pressure, homophobia, and transphobia. Foundations of Decay also explores this idea of rejecting the foundations of who they used to be. They aren't the same performers anymore, and that's okay. The flesh of their old selves have decayed and become reborn into something new entirely. Just like Nina, Gerard was sick of being the white swan forever tied to this idea of conformity, self-restriction, and fear of discrimination. I'm totally down with that interpretation. I think it nicely articulates the suspicions that a lot of fans have about why Gerard would relate to a narrative like Black Swan. September 8th, Boston. The drum says Bears on the 405, which really sounds like it should be a reference to something, but I googled it and I wasn't able to easily find anything. So that night Gerard is wearing a camo jacket. September 10th, Brooklyn. The drum says, "Happy birthday, you beautiful man." Because it was Mikey's birthday that day, Gerard was wearing a camo jacket. September 11th, Brooklyn. The drum says, "Don't ever change." Gerard is wearing a gray button-down shirt buttoned up to Catholic schoolboy extremes, I would say. September 13th. For some reason, I have not written down what city this was in. The drum says, "Sick." Oh, you're sick? Don't worry. Nurse Gerard is here. They're wearing a vintage nurse outfit, kind of similar to the ones worn in the nurses in the Black Parade music video. For good measure, though, I did Google, like, World War II era nurse outfits, and most of the results I found were these, like, British Red Cross nurse outfits. But the American ones from this era that I was able to find look quite a lot like Gerard's nurse outfit. That being said, it might not necessarily be another military reference. It might just be a vintage nurse outfit. Much more aesthetic than coming out in blue scrubs like a modern nurse. I get it. Medical themes, hospitals, sickness, death, all very Black Parade, familiar themes from them. September 15th, St. Paul. The drum says, "Sounds fun, I'm in." Gerard is wearing a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses, which people have identified as a throwback to an outfit they wore to San Diego Comic-Con in 2010. I'm not sure what's significant about this? Why create this outfit other than fans seem to have enjoyed it and really memed on it? He's also got a bullet wound to the middle of his forehead. A fashion choice, I guess. I mean, their first album is called Bullets. Why not add some bullets to this look? September 13th, Chicago. The drum says, "Destroy." Gerard is wearing this MILF outfit. Many people online became convinced that this MILF was specifically Jackie Kennedy, and other people online went, "Wait, how do you know? How are you sure that this is supposed to be Jackie Kennedy?" And then those first people went, "Well, let me tell you," and opened the most obscene conspiracy can of why Gerard has always been obsessed with the Kennedys, how there's reference to it in Danger Days, in the Umbrella Academy comics. Okay, this fucked me up. They did this photo shoot with their wife, which is reenacting the Kennedy assassination, but also looks a lot like the Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge cover to me. So was the Revenge cover always kind of inspired by the Kennedy assassination too? And then there was this one Reddit commenter who was like, "Yeah, obviously it's Jackie Kennedy. I mean, he had a bullet wound to his head last night. He's Jackie Kennedy tonight." Okay, Fine, I believe you guys. It's Jackie Kennedy. September 18th, Alpharetta, the drum says, "You got the job." Gerard is wearing khaki pants, this red kind of cropped top, red pattern necktie, and sunglasses. I'd say there's supposed to be some kind of professional woman, a teacher, a secretary, something like that. Given that the Jackie Kennedy outfit appears at first as an unassuming MILF, I was sure that this had to be a reference to something, a recreation of some outfit from history, but I could not find anything specific, nor could my sources. September 20th, Newark, the drum says, "Off leash." Gerard is wearing a black bodysuit with thigh-high boots, sunglasses, and bat wings. This is the world's perfect balance between slutty and stupid. Why a bat? They're black, they're creepy crawly, some of them drink blood, vampires turn into bats. My Chemical Romance! September 21st, Newark, the drum says, "The house always wins." This is in fact gambling slang, basically meaning that the odds have to be against the customers for the casino to profit. Turn that into a whole metaphor for capitalism and you're golden. That night, Gerard is wearing a sparkly gold tux. People have come up with a number of explanations, but it seems most likely that he just wanted to look extra dapper that night, given that they performed a Frank Sinatra cover. September 23rd, Dover, the drum has a print of some flowers taped onto it. Gerard is wearing a white button-up shirt with a black skirt and a red necktie. People usually refer to this outfit as the flight attendant or the teacher. Again, some kind of a professional woman. Or maybe Gerard is just really into vintage business casual women's wear. Maybe these aren't costumes at all. September 24th, sunrise. The drum says, "Where are you?" Gerard is a sheet ghost. The huge black eye holes, once again, kind of resemble the Black Parade face paint to me. And as dumb and costumey as a sheet ghost is, once again reflecting those themes of death, haunting the afterlife that are very present in Black Parade. A fun fact about the making of that album, actually, is that to get some inspiration, the band actually stayed in the Paramore Estate, which is like a known haunted location in LA. The album was partially written and recorded in the haunted house, and apparently the band experienced a lot of haunting. The song Sleep is about the night terrors that Gerard experienced while staying there. Apparently the whole experience ended up being too much for Mikey, who first started sleeping in Gerard's room and then just dipped altogether. So yeah, thank you Ghouls and Ghosts for Black Parade, for Sleep, which is a song that genuinely spooked me as like a 12-year-old hearing it for the first time. September 27th, Houston. The drum says, "Feeling good." Gerard is wearing this plain blue-gray dress with a cardigan. Simple, unassuming, vintage women's wear. It's a recreation of an outfit that Charles Manson's followers wore to court. Hashtag girl blogger, hashtag femininity, hashtag coquette, hashtag female manipulator, hashtag tradfem. MCR has obviously extensively critiqued masculinity in the past, in the way they present themselves on stage, in their lyrics, etc. We know. But somebody needs to write at length about how Gerard is examining femininity in this tour. We have these general archetypes of femininity: the nurse, the teacher, the flight attendant, the cheerleader, but also specific women: Jackie Kennedy, Black Swan character, the Manson family girls, women who are close to tragedy, who are traumatized, who are fucked up, but who are also highly mythologized. How these women can represent perfection and strength and achievement and many other ideals of American society, but also have this dark truth underneath. How the media and society, like, pick at them, want to make them into a spectacle because they're fixated on that dichotomy between beauty and darkness. And of course Gerard would be interested in figures like that because of his whole thing about how we eat rock stars alive. In this essay, I will— oh my god, we do not have time. September 28th, Dallas. The drum says, "Hail." Gerard is wearing all black. September 30th, Denver. The drum says, "Swan Variation." I googled this and it brought up Swan Lake music, so Gerard is wearing a t-shirt featuring a screen cap from a 1987 movie called Full Metal Jacket, which is about—
you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war.
yeah, that checks out. October 2nd, Portland. The drum says, "Athena." Gerard is wearing a camo jacket and a youth code shirt. October 3rd, Tacoma. The drum says, "I want to watch you turn into a werewolf." There was apparently a costume change midway through this show. Gerard started out wearing this white long sleeve shirt, which seems like some kind of band merch, I'm not sure. And then part of the way through, it changed into a Twilight Team Edward t-shirt and a camo jacket. On stage, they called Robert Pattinson hot and praised his performance in Batman. And then the band played Vampire Money. And to appreciate why this is amazing, I need to take you back to 2005 for a moment. Stephenie Meyer, the author of Twilight, has said in an interview that she used MCR as inspiration during part of her writing. Specifically, she used them as inspiration for writing Jacob's Angst. And because of this point of inspiration, MCR was contacted to write a song for New Moon. I'm imagining this MCR song about New Moon that never existed to be something akin to what, like, Paramore's Decode was for the first movie. MCR declined to write a song for New Moon. Their variety of creatures and vampires did not really align with Twilight's. Doing something for Twilight wasn't really authentic to who they were, wasn't really what they wanted to do. They were offered exorbitant amounts of money, and they still refused to sell out for that vampire money. So they wrote Vampire Money instead out of spite about this experience. So if witnessing 9/11 was what inspired Gerard Way to want to do something significant with his life and to start MCR, and MCR's music inspired parts of Twilight, then that makes this horrible meme true. October 5th, Oakland, the drum is the Watchmen smiley face. I found a 2009 blog post where Gerard is talking about what a formative influence Watchmen was for them. At 15 years old, I was just discovering The Misfits Walk Among Us. I was reading the first chapter of the graphic novel Watchmen. It's the thing I can pinpoint that shaped my views and aesthetics, even down to the way that I dressed at the time. Not that I walked the hallways in a stained brown trench coat, but I definitely chose more antisocial articles of clothing like an army jacket, so I would definitely say it's pretty important to me and the band. It also occurred to me that if not JFK, the forehead bullet wound in past outfit that I just mentioned, could be a Watchmen reference instead, especially since this seems to be otherwise a recreation of a Comic-Con outfit. Watchmen takes place during the Cold War and deals extensively with the potential of nuclear apocalypse. More than anything else, I would say that Watchmen is about how humans try and exist with, cope with, and control inhuman powers, and all of the existential horror that implies. Yeah, I definitely see how this was a formative influence on MCR. That night, Gerard is wearing a gray button-down shirt, black jeans, and sunglasses. October 7th, Vegas, the drum says, "My whole heart." Gerard is wearing all black button-down shirt with a rose in the pocket. The black and red aesthetic, the rose being a very romantic symbol, all feels very revenge era to me. October 8th, Sacramento, the drum says, "Choke me." Gerard is wearing a t-shirt painted with the word scabs, all capitalized, except for the B. Scabs. October 11th, Inglewood, the drum says, "1." Because this is the first of, in fact, 5 shows in Inglewood. You'll see these 5 shows called the LA shows a lot. I think Inglewood is it's in the greater LA area. The way that I'm referring to these shows is by the city name that it says on the official tour list. That night, Gerard is wearing the cheerleader outfit. You know what? You're right. You're completely right. We did want to see it again. This time it even comes with a snazzy matching jacket and a flamethrower. Just got out a flamethrower and threw some flames and looked extremely fearful doing it. Also, interestingly, that night they played over half of their first album, Bullets. October 12th, Inglewood, the drum says 2. People noticed that while they played a lot of material from their first album at the first show, they likewise played a lot of material from Revenge at this show. At which point people started to go, okay, so there's 4 MCR albums. 2 more left to go. But there's 3 more LA shows to go. Obviously, they did not end up dropping a 5th album at the 5th LA Inglewood show, but this is just where people's brains were going at the time. That night, Gerard is wearing a red sweater covered in little sheep with a white collar and a black necktie. It's Princess Diana. Copy and paste everything I just said about the tragic and fucked up women going on in this tour. October 14th, Inglewood. The drum... I'm looking at the drum and I'm thinking, what am I looking at here? It's not a shitty printed out photo taped onto it. It's fully, covering the drum. I found a Tumblr post making the very specific claim that this is a photo of Doug McKean in a ghillie suit in a recording studio. I don't know why that would be an image or even a situation that would exist. However, I don't have a better idea. By this point in the tour, Doug had passed away. This is the show that heavily incorporated material from their third album, Black Parade, the album that is about death. Pretty safe to say. The drum is a picture of Doug. The show is dedicated to Doug. That night, Gerard was wearing a Merciful Fate t-shirt and a green rain poncho. October 15th, Inglewood, the drum says 4. Gerard is dressed as your classic Dracula, 1931 film portrayed by Bela Lugosi Dracula. Fucking obviously. I had trouble at first seeing the connection to their 4th album, Danger Days, because of course Danger Days is very far from the death, blood, vampires, trauma aesthetics of their first albums, but I definitely see how the campy, costumey spirit of fun in Danger Days carries through in this outfit. You know, I say this a lot, but Gerard is such a genius for these outfit choices. To be able to revisit things album by album, but not do the low-hanging fruit of wearing any costumes from that album, or rehashing literally any of the visuals, and instead doing something different, but still so deeply connected to the fabric of what that album is. He is so smart. I love you, Gerard. Bullets, an album about alienating painful loneliness that sparked the band's origins, is a cheerleader bearing a torch. Revenge is about love and loss, and venomous femininity and violence is Princess Diana. Black Parade is literally devoted to a friend who was lost and whose memory will carry on. Danger Days isn't any of the characters Gerard sunk into during that period of time, and is the original campy bloodsucker, dragging all of those albums into 2022 by the roots of their hair. I love it. I wanted to poke a little deeper into why vampires feel so central to MCR, and I ended up finding this interesting Tumblr post talking about the song Vampires Will Never Hurt You. Vampires is about the early signs of Gerard's alcoholism and how he felt he was wasting his life. It's a desperate plea for absolution, someone save my soul tonight, but also the cry of someone who feels caged by an inevitability. Vampires represents the turning point of what would become the origin story of the band. Rather than waste away in idleness, he would either change his life or die. Struck down before our prime, he screams while asking us, the listeners, if we are prepared to take his life. The song hinges itself not on the concept of being saved, but rather in asking us to evaluate what we're doing there. Can you stake my heart? He asks the audience, forcing them to consider their role in the narrative. He wants us to question the reasons why this music resonates with us, and what we plan to do with the emotions it raises. And I agree. Vampires are an extremely powerful study in the way that we confront otherness, both in ourselves and in others. They're transformed, they're uncanny, they're not really alive or dead, and therefore they force us to look at the very existential question of what is alive. October 17th, Inglewood, The Drum Says 5. This is the 5th show. We have run out of albums to theme the shows around. And yeah, the show was not themed around any particular album. However, the implication of a space there. A 5th spot on the lineup existing to be filled. Gerard is wearing a Skull and Crossbones shirt, which people have pointed out seems to be a replica of the iconic one worn by Misfits singer Glenn Danzig in the 80s. So yeah, it's just a little homage to that piece of punk history. This is also the show where the band threw little plastic lizards into the audience. Lizards are, they're a bit of a creepy crawly vermin, I guess. The date was October 24th. We were nearing the end of the US leg of this tour. I was nearing the end of my researching of this video. I was consulting my friend who I went to the Toronto show with. I was consulting him about some things I was still confused about, like who Doug was, if that red crop top outfit possibly meant anything. And my friend goes, "Did you see what they did last night? I hit post limit." Phrases to strike fear into my very core. If you did not know, Tumblr actually has a post limit, like the amount of posts you can add to your blog in a 24-hour period. It's 250. So it is possible to reach post limit, but if you do, it is because something has happened. So I am already in the MCR hell realm, overwhelmed by this video, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened? So MCR was playing a festival in Vegas called When We Were Young, and it was basically a getting together of all of the old emo bands, recapturing the magic of the emo/scene subculture in the 2000s and early 2010s, basically targeting people my age and a little bit older who loved these things when we were young. You get it? But MCR's entire return tour up until this point feels very much about proving that this is not a nostalgia tour, so it feels very at odds with the theme of the festival. Before the show, Frank posts a picture of his guitar picks and a Werther's original. The drum says, "Nothing but the best." The entire band, not just Gerard, the entire band come out in their classic Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge black and red outfits and terrifying FX makeup to make them look elderly, except for Mikey, who is dripping with blood, implying that he had died young. They did not play Foundations or any of their more obscure material like they had all tour, greatest hits only, and it's like, this is what we could be doing for decades. We could be elderly, watching elderly MCR dress up in their old clothes and play their old songs, and is that what any of us want to be doing? With the glory days of youth behind us, basically admitting that we're already dead. It's so good. It's so uncanny. It's the way that it forces the audience to look at themselves. It refuses to be comforting and nostalgic. It goes for your fucking throats. They sold merch that just said merch on it. Bracelets that said MCR is running out of shit to say. They ended the show playing Vampire Money and throwing Vampire Money into the crowd. Vampire Money being a song about, no, not selling out, I will remind you. I think it must have been important to them to play this show and then to pull this stunt critiquing the premise of the entire festival. Because to them and a lot of others, holding up that era in their lives and their work it's insulting. Because honestly, that era was not ideal. That's clearest, I think, when we look at Mikey, who's been open about his life-threatening struggles with addiction and mental health, and how these things were exacerbated by a lot of what happened in the early years of MCR. It's widely thought that the song Brother from Gerard's solo album Hesitant Alien is about Mikey's close calls with death and Gerard's fear of losing him. I believe Mikey is sober now and has recovered, but there is a timeline where the band didn't end MCR in 2014 because they needed to, because it was bad for them, because it was something that was comfortable and profitable, and maybe Mikey didn't recover in that timeline. Or he died on the shores of Normandy in 2005 and then became a vampire. Both good explanations. Of course, they passionately have a problem with a nostalgia-based concert because they were kind of miserable and their lives were messy back then, and they were heavily commodified by a subculture that wasn't always kind to them. Hayley Williams, the singer for Paramore, spoke at the festival about the same thing.
The scene was not always a safe place to be if you were different. If you were a young woman, if you were a person of color, if you were queer, and that's really fucked up if you think about it. Because this was supposed to be the safe place.
The 2000s weren't that good. Nostalgia is a liar. Why yearn for a time when it was literally worse to be any kind of different, even for emos? MCR wants us to know that they are happy and healthy now and still capable of creating excellent art. This show just feels narratively like a perfect place to end this video. October 29th, Las Vegas. The drum says, "Knives for days." MCR has a very long history of knife imagery. I think a question that MCR always comes back to, sometimes through this imagery of knives and stabbing, is why do people hurt each other? What do pain and suffering mean? That night, Gerard is wearing what appears to be some kind of red military uniform. People have put images from this night into black and white and compared them with the Ghost of You music video military uniforms. Someone on Tumblr said, the militarization of the trademarked My Chemical Romance red. Gerard as a parody of a holy war general. Red and black became this kind of uniform for concert goers this tour, despite it not being a band color scheme since 2006. Just something mass associated, something a uniformed leader with uniformed devotees. At this show, they also played opera music between the songs. The specific opera song that they played is called Casta Diva. According to the internet, that title translates to Chaste Goddess, comes from Bellini's opera Norma, and is a moment of stillness and calm before an oncoming war. Norma, the head priestess, leads her people in a mesmerizing prayer to the goddess of the moon. So there's that connection to Gerard being some kind of a military general or leader. There's his ties to femininity and powerful women. It all works beautifully. However, people have also pointed out that this outfit looks a lot like the Phantom of the Opera. Their first EP with the cat on it that I mentioned is called like Phantoms Forever. I am honestly not that familiar with Phantom of the Opera, so I can't really draw many other connections there. But yeah, few possible interpretations of this outfit, I guess. November 28th, Mexico City. The drum says, very faithful in Spanish. Gerard is dressed as Joan of Arc. Now have a city, my friends, because this is one of the most meaningful costumes in the entire tour. Let me tell you about Gerard Way's obsession with Joan of Arc. May 16th, 2022, the first date on this tour was in fact the 102nd anniversary of Joan of Arc's canonization. Thinking about how these shows were delayed by 2 years and it was originally meant to be 2020 and it would have been the exact 100th anniversary of Joan of Arc's canonization. Insane. 102nd does not have the same ring to it, but it's fine, Gerard. I see what you're trying to do. According to one biography that's been written about them, during the Black Parade era, he became obsessed with Joan of Arc and considered shaving his head as she had once done. He bought countless films about her and would watch them alone in his room, prompting nightmares in which he watched her burning alive. In another more recent interview, he answered the question, how do you like to spend your downtime on tour? Like this. I write my comic book, which is amazingly fun, and I want to do serious paintings of Joan of Arc and squids. Joan of Arc is my favorite historical, legendary, whatever figure. Number one, it's a boyish, waifish girl in a suit of armor on a white horse, and that's badass. I've always been attracted to that character because it's someone who was willing to die for what they believed in, and they were probably fucking crazy and, like, touched by the hand of God, and I believe in that shit. I totally believe in that stuff. I believe that it can happen to anybody. Like I said when I started this band, there was a brief amount of time where it felt like you drank gasoline and shit glass, and you were always covered in your own sweat, somebody else's spit or blood or something. And I felt that, you know what I mean? I would make crazy speeches that made no sense on stage. I would talk about purifying flames being shot out of our cabinets at max volume to destroy evil and shit like that. I was, touched in the head. And really, when you get touched in the head like that, I think your job at that point for the rest of your career is to remember what it was like to be touched in the head and kind of keep that going, because that can't last forever. You'll be dead, I think. Like Joan of Arc. Yeah, I love Joan of Arc and squids. Honestly, the shapes, the disgustingness of them, the suckers, the fact that they're in the ocean. I'm a huge Hellboy fan, so I draw a lot of squids. Why was there not more squids in this tour, okay? I wish there had been more squids. Gerard, can we have some squids? He wrote this short comic about Joan of Arc in 2017, and I want to show you a panel of it. And these flames were the last, though not of death but of salvation. For when you are burned for what you believe in, you are not ash, you are embers, and I shall remain everlasting. I want to latch onto that, because that feels very Foundations of Decay to me. This idea of purifying flames, rebirth, immortality even. March 11th, Auckland. The drum says, "Fix facts, fuck you." Gerard is dressed like some kind of professional office lady. They're wearing a gray suit with a skirt, sheer tights, and high-heeled boots. They're carrying a briefcase. Usually when Gerard wears a special costume like this, there will be a corresponding Twitter post or Instagram post from the costume designer Marina Toybina, who I've mentioned earlier, who designed a lot of costumes for this show. Usually when one of her costumes appears, she'll make a post about it. But she did not post about this outfit, which indicates that this is probably just a regular outfit that Gerard picked out. It's not a specially designed costume, it's just an outfit. Also at this show, the first March show, the apocalyptic city background seems to have changed a little bit. At the start of the show, it seemed to be raining in the background, and by the end, it had changed to a night sky full of stars. Also this.
But it's not the end. It never ends. Because war never ends. Because war never ends.
March 13th, Brisbane. The drum says, "Everything under control." Gerard is wearing a very similar office lady outfit. It's maybe a little more conservative this time. It has a longer skirt and smaller heels. On stage, they apparently said, "I dislike strongly nights when my hair is too fucking wet and it's slapping me in the face, and I will not wear a hat with this outfit." And so we move on to war. And you know what's in store? More fucking war. I wish I had a video of this one, but alas. March 14th, Brisbane. The drum says, "Here comes the airplane." Oh my god. Fucking hell, Gerard. Oh my god. The previous one said everything is under control. Gerard is wearing the office lady outfit again, and I think it's very safe to say that this character is supposed to be someone who would have worked in the World Trade Centers. The outfit is skewing more slutty goth on this night. It's black, the skirt is very short, there's this little cape situation, these leather gloves and sunglasses. It's show-stopping. As great of an outfit as this is, let's put it aside for a second, and I want to tell you a little bit more about Gerard Way's experience with 9/11. In 2001, he was an intern at Cartoon Network living in New York City. He said in a 2013 interview, "I did see the buildings go down, from I'd say fairly close. It was like being in a science fiction film or some kind of disaster film. You didn't believe it. You felt like you were in Independence Day. It made no sense. Your brain couldn't process it." And at 2019 Comic-Con, he said, "So 9/11 happens, and I pick up the guitar again, and I write Skylines and Turnstiles. Music became my therapy for the PTSD that everyone had experienced from 9/11 and processing that." That is the band's origin. That is what Foundations of Decay is kind of reflecting on. Gerard definitely acknowledges this experience as the reason why his work has always explored the confrontation of horror, apocalypse, destruction. March 16th, Melbourne. The drum says, "Terror." Gerard is dressed as our office lady again. There's an umbrella included as an accessory in this version. I think that little cloak thing actually it's kind of a raincoat. It's great. March 16th, Melbourne. The drum says, "Bark, bark, bark." We see regular jeans and a t-shirt Gerard for the first time in a while. There was actually a saucy thigh rip in the jeans, which apparently is nothing new. March 19th, Sydney. The drum says, "Unkillable." The office lady is back, but now covered in blood. In some of the photos, it seems like they're wearing white contact lenses, which make them look particularly undead. Seeing Gerard Way covered in blood is like seeing a frog on a lily pad. Like, that's exactly how it should be. Natural order of things. So the final leg of this tour is being used to thoroughly introduce us to this new character who is very linked to Foundations of Decay, to this new era of MCR that we don't fully understand yet, but she's there. She is a woman at the center of horror and pain. She is a Joan of Arc figure. She is Gerard's vessel for expressing the feminine parts of their gender. She is undead. She is resurrected. She is immortal. March 20th, Sydney. The drum says, "Unkillables." Plural now. Gerard is her yet again. Between this show on the 20th and the next one on the 25th, the 22nd passed, which was the 10-year anniversary of My Chemical Romance's breakup in 2013. The band did not acknowledge it at all. They were just posting about like arriving in Japan and having a great time. The last 2 shows are in Japan. So yeah, March 25th, Tokyo. The drum says Gemini and Gerard is dressed as her. Imagining these MCR concerts as Looney Tune-esque episodes where they keep killing the main character by the end, but she keeps climbing out of the grave with little cartoon sound effects, even more fucked up than last time. I love her. OMG, is she like a Gemini? Is that why the drum? Okay, this feels extremely Illuminati confirmed conspiracy board, and I'm slightly sorry that I'm about to say it, but is the symbol of the Gemini sign not the twins? March 26th, Osaka. The drum started out with nothing on it. It just seemed to be like a mirrored surface, but then part of the way through it was changed to say Endless Night. Gerard was dressed as our girl once again, and now it is done. It ended only a few days ago and I already miss it. What am I gonna do without my gay sports that I follow on Tumblr? I'm on the conspiracy train. I believe there's a 5th album coming. I cannot wait to hear it. I cannot wait to cook my fucking brain the way I did when I was 13 with Danger Days. In the immortal words of Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, MCR rocks. Thank you so much for watching this video, my friends, and I will see you in another one very soon.